Call the regular meeting to order. Again, everyone is in attendance except Trustee Hinkle, who is excused. Let's stand for pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And again, hopefully everyone's had a chance to review the agenda, and if so, I'm looking for a motion to consent.
I move to make a motion to consent the agenda and minutes from the meeting at 12/9/21.
Thank you. We have a motion. Is there a second? Second. First by Trustee Root, second by Trustee Johnson. Any discussion? All right, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. So passed. New biz. Public comments and input. We kind of missed the boat on that one. Oh. Do we get it?
No, because I
All
messed
right,
it
could you just sign the sheet here?
Do I just come up there?
Yep.
Hi.
Could you just put your name on the sheet?
Your name on your comment.
Sorry about that, that was our fault.
It's okay. So hi, I'm Shelley Janke. I just wanted to introduce myself. I am the new tenant in Building 2A. So I am previously the owner of New Image Total Body Spa. I'm not sure if any of you are familiar with it, but I was on Durand, just 2 miles up the road across from the mall for about 12 years. So it's definitely not a new business to me. It's just going to be kind of a revamped new version of the old spa. But I'm really excited about being in the village. I love this area. It's very spa-like with the park, feels like a park to me in the back, or like a retreat almost. So we're currently right now working on the renovations, and so I'm excited about that. I was hoping that when everything's done, I might have like a little open house for you guys and just do like a tour so you can see what I'm up to. So hopefully it's going to be beautiful, and that's kind of the whole spa environment, of course. But we were the best spa of Racine County for several years. I would say like 6 years in a row. Yeah, so so I just brought some brochures in case anyone's kind of curious, like what we did before. It might not be the exact same, it just depends on who hires, or if they run a room, or kind of what the vibe is. But we've done lots of different things in the years. I'm personally a laser specialist. So my niche in the industry is hair removal, skin tightening, wrinkle reduction, pigmentation repair. So that's what I bring into it. And then of course we're looking for massage therapists and massage estheticians, maybe a Botox, something. I also have Reiki, acupuncture. I'm hoping to have some yoga classes. So kind of a different all-around vibe. So this is kind of like the old things. I don't care, I want to look at it. But just get you kind of curious if like what it used to look like. But I don't want it to be the exact same as it was before. But those are different services that we've offered over the years. Yeah, so I'm going to have an open house. We do little flyers. We usually have monthly specials. We do a lot for the community. Sometimes we'll have I've worked with, I think, the Women's Crisis Center, that kind of stuff, and we'll come in and do like a spa day for them, or different things. But we're going to have a new vibe, so this is the new logo. So the vibe before was more of like an old school, kind of an old world vibe to it, and it was great, but I want to do more modern this time. So it's going to be a lot of grays and whites, and teal is our accent color, and it'll be sparkly with crystals and glitter. So that's what we're going to do. It's going to be fabulous. So anyway, so I'm excited. Thank you guys for letting us in, and we're hoping to bring something to the community, and it'll be good energy for everybody, and hopefully positive, and hopefully we'll be best spa in Racine again.
Yes, thank you. Welcome.
Yeah, so you guys like those, I'll just pick those up later. It's all my leftovers that I have from the past, but I just brought them so you kind of have an idea of who I am and what we did, and I'm looking forward to a good thing here. Yeah, so I'm a long-term person. I invest a lot in my buildings. I put a lot of love into it, and I don't like moving. It's not good for business. So once I'm in somewhere, I like to just put my roots in there and do good for the community and let it grow. So one of the good things that I've done in the past is been really good for starting women in businesses. So I'll get them out of school and teach them everything they need to know and kind of mentor them to become business owners. So that's why I've left it a little bit more open, especially with today's kind of energy and how people like with workers. I'm going to let them be kind of subcontractors from me so that they don't learn from me and then leave. I want them to grow and really build a business, and we all work together collectively as a group to help each other build businesses. So, but actually, next month will be my 30 years of self-employment. So it's, yeah, I don't look that old, this laser works. But yeah, I started at 20 and I never worked for anyone, so I had learned everything. So that's why I kind of take them under my wing and really just want to nurture them, because I know what it's like to start from nothing. So yeah, so that's just who I am. And once we get all the remodeling done and everything's beautiful, I'd love for you guys to come check it out. And then when we do an open house, everyone's invited. So I'll bring a little flyer and let you know.
Welcome.
Great, well, good to meet you. Glad you're here.
Yeah, so it probably won't be until February, and then open house might be a couple months down the road, like in the spring when things are nice. So
It's done, right?
yeah, well, my remodel may be done, but just getting all the services in there and getting the brochures, and it just takes time once it evolves, you know. I'm starting over. I've been closed for 2 years. COVID wasn't very friendly to spa owners, so it went into real estate.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what I've been doing the last 2 years. So we did close, and so now I think it's just time to reinvent. And if I hadn't had customers call me every day for the last year, I might not have thought about doing it again because it's been tough. But every day someone calls me and says, where is the spa? How come where's my massage? I need to come in, or they definitely need laser hair removal. So, I mean, you were a regular of mine, they were waiting for me to come back. So, so I decided to go back into it because of my customers. So we had left a good customer base and good reputation, and so that was my driving force to restart. So yeah, so I'm excited, but I really, I'm excited because I want to see this building totally transform. So it'll be fun to see the before and afters. Yeah, it's gonna be nice. So, but anyway, if anyone wants to get a hold of me, I'm on Facebook, look up New Image, we're all over the place. So, all right.
Thank you.
Nice to meet everyone.
Thank you, Shelley.
You're welcome.
Any other public comment? Nice chance. All right, then moving on. Next, we will go to sheriff's report.
Good evening, everybody. The month of December 2021, deputies spent more than 2 hours in the village. Throughout the month, we've conducted 21 crime preventions. We've also addressed an open door complaint, 2 parking violations. We've conducted several traffic stops, issuing the following citations: 11 for speed, 2 for operating without a license, 2 for non-registration of a motor vehicle, and 4 citations for no insurance. We did issue 1 citation to a person for not having the right license on their person, and 2 parking complaints, and 2 operators that had a suspended driver's license. We continue to maintain an active presence in the Village of Elmwood Park. Assigned deputies as well as area guards will continue to safeguard resident areas, ensure business security after hours, and conduct crime preventions and traffic enforcement throughout the community. In December, deputies did spend 2.1 hours of billable time in the village for an invoice total of $126.23. The 2021 contract has been satisfied, and thank you for allowing us to serve you guys and the board.
Thank you.
Great, thank you.
One thing that's not on this letter, it just came, we had an anonymous letter sent to us. It came January 7th. Reference Evergreen Academy on Lathrop and Taylor. They wrote in their letter, and this was just sent to Lieutenant Kinservic earlier today. He's attached my email here. I don't know if he's going to send this out to you guys. I don't have anyone's email address to send it out, but there's been 3 times, and this is the email, it's pretty short. 3 times in the last few months I've really been involved in an automobile accident at Taylor and Lathrop. The cause is from parking at the school there. People are parking on the street into the intersection. They went to highlight an area where vehicles are parked, all the way down Taylor, all the way down Lathrop, and then they went to the extent of printing off or attaching some Wisconsin parking laws where you can park, where you can't park. They highlighted in here, you can't park within 15 feet of a crosswalk or intersection. And they feel that the reason that they've almost been struck has been because of the parking situation there. So I'm not sure if it's something you guys can send out to Evergreen or how that works.
We have notified them at least once
Okay.
about that. If Kinservik can send me that map, maybe, that intersection and the areas they can and can't park, that would be
Yep.
good to share with the principal over there so that they can communicate to parents who are parking along that area.
You want me to forward it to you right now?
Yeah,
You want to take your
great.
email address?
Yeah, yeah, I can do that.
All right, then, well, Chris is doing that. Any questions?
Thank you for taking care of the speeding. We do have the speeding even in the wintertime. But in
Yeah.
summertime, I mean, if you get into the habit of kind of being in the area, maybe people will be less likely to speed all the time, especially the summertime.
Yeah. All right, I'll let Kinservik know you guys got it, so I'll give the bar 20 minutes more emails. Yeah, we're doing our best. I know right now it's just been busy throughout the county for everybody, and we do our best to sit through here. And I know when I was patrolling, there's lots of spots, and down those two roads you can sit, and people fly down there all the time. So
You know,
we're doing our best to make sure those two streets are safe. And I know one thing with the parking complaint, it's probably not helping that we have snow now, so people can't pull off the road as far as that they probably could before.
I think it's pickup, not necessarily parking, it's standing with parents inside picking their kids up. And I don't know what,
and that's twice a day.
yeah,
Yeah.
and you probably see it.
I see crazy driving. Oh my gosh, they're doing like these people are coming in, they're just doing a U-turn right in the road. They're doing these Y turns, and it's just like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
I
yeah.
seen them do a Y turn into someone's yard the other day when
Oh,
I
yeah.
was coming
Yeah.
through. I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Who does that?
There's crazy
Yeah.
driving.
Yeah, and obviously we can't always be there, and sometimes when we park a fully marked squad car, then everyone drives the best that they can possibly drive because they know the police are there watching, so we try to do our best. And I know some of our, we don't have any unmarked cars anymore that we used to be able to sit in the driveway and blend in like the rest of traffic so we can see what people are doing, but we'll continue to do our best. And if you guys have any other questions, let Lieutenant Kinservik know and can address them at next month's meeting.
Thanks so much.
All right,
Hey,
have a good night.
Thank you.
All right, be safe out there.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to President's report. We had our first snowfall with our new plowing contractor, and I'm happy to say I had a total of one phone call, and it really wasn't anything to do with the operator. It was, we had some cars that were parked on Saratoga, which prevented them from plowing the entire cul-de-sac. So that's amazing. There are little odds and ends that we communicated with the operators as they were doing their work, and then a few calls to the owner, just little tweaks here and there, but overall, I'm amazed that it went as seamlessly as it did. We're still gonna get the bill from that. We haven't seen exactly how that's gonna shake out, so that'll be another story. Otherwise, so far so good. Next item then, Shelley, I'm sorry. Obviously, everyone knows it's our new tenant. So far things have been working very well, and we're excited to see what the remodel will look like.
So excited.
Building 5, everyone knows we have the new tenants in there. They're getting closer to actually occupying the building. They have started the tenancy. There's some light work going on in there. They met with licensing, so they're in the process of, it's not so much renovation as more so as dressing up the finishes. Everyone remembers the state it was in right at the end, so there's a little odds and ends that, or a few odds and ends that need to be fixed. And that is about it. We'll move on. Trustee Barrios.
Nothing to report, sir.
Okay. Trustee Black.
Nothing except that I delivered welcome packets. That's what I'm doing. New residents.
All right. Trustee Gasser.
We have a calendar set for events for the year of 2022 that I am hoping to put out maybe even in the next newsletter, Chris, and event chairs for each event happening this year. So that is looking to shape up nicely. And our Christmas party went really well. And for those of you that attended, thanks for coming. It was fun.
Very good. Trustee Hinkle, trustee Johnson, excuse me.
Not to report it, but just to go back on what you said about the snow plowing, I mean, I think the very next night the roads were dry, and it hasn't been like that for 3 years. I mean, they did a great job so far. I mean, it's the last time we'll have to see them.
Suppose on ours, on Green Meadows, they didn't put no metal stakes. So I got in out of town that night, so I can't remember what it was, but our road was a little smaller because I don't think they knew exactly where the lines were at because they didn't put no stakes on there to measure or get an idea of where do I start at. So you could tell that on our road, our street was a lot narrower than the past.
Ours,
They might want to go in there and visit and put something down so they can see more or less where
what they use is the mailboxes.
Now,
So on a straight run like
they
that,
were far off the mailboxes.
what they try to do though with the bigger equipment, because we talked about this, is actually a question that came up from trustee Gasser, is that, you know, some areas don't have stakes. This is bigger equipment, they're gonna stay further back. That was on North Elmwood Drive, I noticed that, areas of the east, south. So we're probably gonna see them get a little bit narrower, but you'll see more of a push then when the snow starts to build up. So that's just one of the differences with bigger equipment. They are talking about, sorry to take over the report here, but they are talking about using a smaller vehicle next time because I don't know if anyone saw, they were using a full-size truck that you'd see in Racine. They're gonna try to use smaller trucks, maybe that'll help out too with some of these items. Trustee Rood.
Oh, the regular monthly reconciliations, but I have to report too that my responsibilities with the fall rentals has been transitioning now over to Kendall Barrier. She's doing a fantastic job. So just kind of handing the reins over to her and continue to increase rentals both in the gym and the hall.
And the pictures look great that you put on Facebook of the hall. And there's been a lot of shares, so I just want to say, I don't know who took those pictures, but they were great.
Yeah.
All right, Administrator Jenkins.
All right, so at the end of the year, it's always busy with bookkeeping stuff, lots of tax collection, dog licensing, all that good stuff. I gave you kind of a little preliminary breakdown of end of the years, our revenues versus expenses. There were a couple more invoices that came in as of this week. So I had said that my preliminary estimate of the surplus was $43,000. That's probably more realistically $35,000. So that surplus, once it's all confirmed, will get rolled over into our reserve account as it should. But overall, I'm pretty proud, as I mentioned here, that we had some unexpected expenses, but those were balanced out pretty well on the revenue side. And that helps support, value number 5, which we all know is a fiscally responsible community for both our residents and our government operation. In addition to that, I kind of went over some of the contracts, some of our existing contracts and new contracts that started this year. With that, I found a couple discrepancies that were in our favor. I'll point out a little one. We have a pharmaceutical bin in building number 1 that, did you know, we get paid $500 to have that bin? Well, now we know, and now we got $500. So that was a nice check that we got this week. Another point is that I asked for a breakdown of our all of the fines and forfeitures that we've been collecting. We started a new agreement with the county, if you remember, in January of 2020. In this agreement, we were going to collect all of the fines revenues in exchange for us providing a public defender or a prosecutor for those cases. What I found is that it seems to be they were still charging a $5 per case fee to us every month since January of 2020. So I've since been in contact with their office. They're going to be issuing us a refund for that. And then the other question that's still outstanding is, as we know, we started a new fire contract with City of Racine come this month, but we still get specially assessed $750 for the complex to have fire coverage. So while yes, this is in the City of Racine, my ask was to them, hey, could you maybe not specially assess us, considering we're part of your fire contract now anyway. So we'll see what happens with that. We completed election inspector training this week. Got a lot of people retrained and good to go. And got an additional chief inspector, so thank you to that person for stepping up. If you remember, at the end of last year, we approved the budget to add on an additional maintenance staff person. I'm happily surprised that we found somebody who's qualified right away. So Adam Pischke, he lives in the village. He works in the maintenance staff of the school district. He got hired to join our staff. He's going to learn from the more experienced guys that we have right now, and we'll get them all up and running. And then we look forward to him playing a bigger role in maintaining the complex and BB school moving forward. So thank you to him for stepping up. And then I'll just add, as Laura mentioned, Kendall Barrier, who's our hall sales rep. She took on additional responsibilities that involved with that role, and she's doing a great job. So I think that's it. Mr. Winfrey. Okay, thank you.
All right, moving on. Another exciting animal business discussion and possible action on overnight parking for 3508 Maryland Avenue. Everyone remembers this. This was the last, in January we talked about this. There was I never did say her name. View residence. Excuse me. We were talking about the roadside parking there. Chris, you can summarize this better than I can.
Sure. So it's in your report. I was asked to follow up on a couple items. I'll just summarize those for you. You asked me to look into any traffic incidents that happened along Maryland Avenue over the past 5 years. There's only one reported accident, and that's on the west side, so not the area that we're talking about. And they affirmed that there was no legal or immediate safety concern of Mr. View or anybody else parking on the sidewalk. That's not a concern of theirs. We asked about ticketing and exceptions. In their ticketing system that they use, they can't grant just an exception for a single household. The only way that they'd be notified of this really is if you guys grant a parking permit that is literally posted in the residence window. And as I've stated here, you guys have affirmed, at least in the past, that you don't want to issue parking permits, so that would be against our policy. And final is you asked about legal driveway dimensions for residential lots. All that I found, and I confirmed with the county public works, is that the Wisconsin Highway Maintenance Manual talks about the width of a driveway being anywhere from 16 to 24 feet, but there's no restrictions on the length. So my final recommendation is, based on the input that I heard at the last meeting, I've since talked to you guys and I provided the background that you've asked me to provide. I would recommend that you take no action on this and just continue to hold up your recommendation of not allowing overnight parking on village streets, and I keep that uniform throughout the village. That's it.
Anyone have anything to say? This is one that's gone around for a while now, not just in Mr. View's case, but Saratoga, this issue initially came up, or was at least first visited by this current board. We've gone around on it, and at this point it is, at least to me, exhausted in terms of investigation. No one's really brought anything new. Chris has done a great job investigating the items that were requested. I don't know if anyone has any other additional items to bring to the table here.
I think it's important that we maintain across the board this type of enforcement. I mean, we've had problems with other people having the same issues, and we can't make an exception. It has to be the same for everyone.
All right. Mr. View, I'm going to speak directly to you because this will affect you directly. No action by this board then means that your temporary allowance of parking until this matter was discussed and resolved would then terminate at the end of this meeting. So then you would no longer be able to park your car in the street. You'd have to park it on the driveway like you were doing. There was no issue determined with the car, the front of the car, parking over the sidewalk. So at this point, without any action, which I will wait one more time for this board to propose, that would be the end result of this discussion.
So I can still block the sidewalk then, right?
Yes.
Okay.
As odd as that sounds.
Consider the sidewalk blocked internally then,
All right. Okay, then moving on. New business, approval of Taylor Complex 2022 driveway reconstruction contract. You want to start, should I start?
Sure, I'm gonna start off. So as the board knows, we've been talking about this for a little while. Over the past couple of months, I solicited contractors to come take a look at the complex. So what this would involve doing is, there's a portion of the drive here in front of this building in Building 2 that was redone about 4 years ago. Everything else that's along this driveway here would be completely redone. And then in addition to, it would continue, the drive would continue past Building 3 here and mirror the additional parking up through Building 4 and Building 5, so it makes a big U shape throughout the complex. We would remove some of the existing pavement that's no longer needed. So what this does is two things. One, it adds additional parking, especially here in Building 4 where it's needed. And two, as long as Building 5 continues to be a daycare, continue to have buses and things like that, it allows for easier flow of traffic from the south entrance to the north entrance. So I know that those people are excited about that as well. We initially had estimated, to be quite honest with you, about $250,000 is what we thought that this would come in at. If you look at the bids in front of you, all of the bids came in under that, which is great to see. So just based on the original bids, the lowest bidder was asphalt paving. All of the contractors' proposals were in the packet. The lowest bid was asphalt. They added in an alternate of $970, and that was to clean, crack fill, and seal this newer portion of driveway just so that it all blends in together and looks nice. So that total would be $130,430. And then I added a 10% contingency in there, it's about $13 for a total recommendation of $143,430 to be awarded to asphalt paving, and this would come out of the leftover funds from the 2021 road project funds.
The bulk of this really focuses around adding the drive between the end of the current, which terminates between Building 3 and Building 4, and it'll maintain a 40-foot width, which is the larger section that we see adjacent to Building 2. So that would continue then basically all the way through to Building 5. The roundabout gets removed at Building 5, that gets turned into grass, so then we just have a straight shot through like Chris was saying. So this more than doubles the parking. It's a lot less wear and tear on the asphalt where people aren't turning around. You can see how quickly areas where people are doing turnarounds, the area between Building 3 and Building 4. Removing that half of that path, so now the green space in between gets more defined. This is an overall winner. Oh, and the front area, so everything then, like Chris was saying, up to Building 2, that gets removed and replaced. The end result is this is going to look like a brand new drive all the way through. We talked about this, and this was something 5 years ago we started talking about, and some of the not planning, strategic planning, that's what it was, discussions, and we're there. We saved enough money on the roads that even we still have money left over on that budget after we spend this to repair the entire campus and add new. And the road design is very similar to what we saw in the village. 4 inches of asphalt. It's going to be a 2.5-inch base course, 1.5-inch surface course. They've got landscaping restoration on this. I mean, it seems to be a total package. The only thing we're missing right now is lighting. So that's why we're looking to get some additional money as a contingency. So we're probably going to add a few light poles in here, and then when they cut the road in, there's a possibility they'll disturb the existing. Well, either way, that allows us then to go after the lighting item. That's something that'll have to get added to this, but hopefully the 10,000 contingency would cover it. I don't really have much more than that. There is a drawing, I don't know if anyone's gone through it yet, that shows all the areas that will be done. So there is, the alternate does cover the existing area we did, so seal coating in, and I'm always back and forth on seal coating, but at least for the initial few years, even the area that was previously done will look like it was replaced or not at the same time as the new. All right, there's a lot of words. Any questions?
I noticed the road's 40 feet across. Is there, do you feel that there's any need to make that wider? Or is
Well,
that
18 is the standard parking stall, so 18 feet wide and 22 our roads in the village average in at 22.
Okay.
So it's been
Two
working,
lanes of traffic.
yeah, it's been working so far. I don't really see a need to expand that, and that's less of the area that you would see between row parking, like if you were to go to Target or something like that. So we've got plenty of room. And you just don't want to make it too much, more than what you need to, because it's maintenance in the future.
I just thought this is the time to do something, and this is when we want to expand it. That's the first time I wanted to bring it up.
So 40 feet is good.
Okay. Another thing I'm mentioning here, and I'm just looking at it, and I think, asphalt paving is doing a great job here. Maybe, should the board consider going down by the gym? Because in the wintertime, we get so much gravel that comes into the gym, and with the gym being utilized as much as it is right now, I think it might be a really good idea to get down in there and pave that.
Where that parking spot is?
That parking down there.
That's not a bad idea.
And I just don't know if that might be something the board would consider.
The one thing I get leery about is making a hard surface where you got a steep grade like that.
Okay.
Is that in the wintertime, where if some snow gets packed down, you've got one dangerous surface. I'd like to take a look at that. I mean, it would be great, but you don't want to create a situation now where, and I think it's pretty flat when it gets to the gym doors. You
Yes.
don't want to create a situation where you're funneling water down to an area. That's why sometimes gravel, it's not the best, but it may be better. We can take a look at it and get some recommendations.
Okay, so I just thought that would keep the floor a lot cleaner in the wintertime.
Can I just ask Laura then, so the gravel, right over here where the dumpsters are, would that
Yeah.
include that area too?
I
Or would you keep that gravel?
think I'd like to keep that, to have that paved. I think it'd just be a lot
So you
easier.
just have a lane then going down and to the right in this map over to the gym?
Yeah, just going down into there. And then we're gonna do the drive to the maintenance building too, that's taken care of. But it's just, maybe where the dumpsters are, just to have that paved too. I think it just makes it a lot cleaner. And then going down to figure out something for the gym parking. One other thing actually, there's two other things I wanted to bring up. On the picture, everybody's got that, behind building 2, you see kind of like that, it used to, I don't know what it used to be, but there's a big chunk of asphalt.
That's a basketball court.
The what?
It's a basketball court.
Basketball court. That's not being utilized at all anymore, and it's in pretty bad shape. I wonder if at this time would be a good time, since we have all the equipment out there anyway, what they're going to be using for the actual driveway, if it might be a good idea to pull that out. And then also, in front of building 3 here, there's a little slab of concrete there where they used to have a little log cabin.
What was that one for? I thought about if you were gonna do something with that pavement, if you were gonna have, we've talked about having music in the summer, that would be great to pave for. When Pat and I were planning different things, that's a great spot to keep it off of parking. So I wondered, even Charles, my husband, said, if they leveled that, it would be a much better way to have somebody, almost like a stage or a platform. That was just something I thought of, but I didn't know if there was something under that.
There's a footing under it.
What does that mean?
It's 4 foot, 8 inch to 12 inch wide walls.
Okay.
It's for frost, the whole thing doesn't heat.
Okay.
So, it can be taken out. It's just a matter of, what I think we should do is we should get some additional bids, so alternates from the contractor on this, and then approve at the next meeting. Because this work's not gonna start in the next month
No.
anyway.
But the basketball court piece that Laura.
That's kind of, yeah, that's a no-brainer.
That's kind of a smart, I just feel like nobody, even I have kids, and nobody goes over there because it's kind of useless.
There's nothing. One other thing too, I'd like the board to consider, the actual orphanage itself was out there, you can see where it says 200 feet across there, that's where the orphanage was. And that ground is sinking, and it's becoming very like this for the guys who cut the grass. Is it possible, maybe at this time, to do some excavating there, to put some dirt in there? I spoke with Ernie earlier about possibly having it carved out I don't know, maybe Ernie, you could, expand on that a little bit more, just to kind of make it, because that ground is sinking. And there's a lot of wasp nests, bees nests that the guys run into there too. So just wanted to ask the board your opinion on that.
Well, what we should probably do, I talked about blading the whole thing, but really the issue is when they tore things down, a lot of the times everyone just threw junk into a hole.
Uh-huh.
And so like as the organics, the wood decompose, and so you get these holes,
Right.
there's little voids in the ground, so wasps love them.
Sure.
Anything that likes to burrow, or have a little pocket of a home. So maybe we just go look at getting a landscaper or the contractor to just dump dirt in these areas and grade them. They're gonna have a landscaper come out do the repairs.
Uh-huh.
So this is just one more thing we can add to the list of alternates. So we'll put together a menu then of alternates, get a price from the contractor, and then address this at the next meeting for approval.
Okay.
All right?
So
Thank you.
Do you still want alternate bids then from all 4 of these contractors, or do you want me to just go to asphalt, who's your lowest
I'd
bid,
s-
and again?
Let's get the lowest two,
Okay.
because,
Let me start. I mean,
yeah,
Yeah.
we know we've got most of the 2 competitive ones anyway at this point.
Okay.
The other ones, they're not even close after that. Well, to be fair, I mean, the only one that was really up was Chiquini, but the rest of them
Yeah.
were reasonable.
Okay. One other thing I just wanted to bring up to the board, so I'm taking up all this time, the berm in the back. Is this a time that we address that, or is that something that we just kind of say, I'm kind of unclear as to what happened. Was it somebody wanting the berm leveled, or?
So this was probably one of the first things that came up when I was a trustee. One of the residents was telling the board at the time that a previous board told him that this was the Peterson, that the previous board would address this berm somehow, beautify it, reshape it, whatnot. So then that board took it up that something would be done to the berm. Long story short on that, nothing was done with the berm then, and he felt that the board made him a promise, which I would say the board then did. The work wasn't done. It came then to last year, we got a price on doing the same work, and it was more than double. I forget the dollar, it was somewhere around $8,000 to reshape the berm, bring in some soil so that there could be plantings on it. And it just became something that the board looked at on the last meeting that this was brought up, that do we want to spend $8,000 on something that's purely aesthetic, that benefits one resident? And it died then. So, and Chris says this so many times, and I do agree with it, no previous board can bind any future board. So, and we ran into that on several occasions where people have claimed that previous boards have made promises. So at this point, unless there's a change of mind on that one,
It was, and I'll
it's
give
kind
it,
of,
do you want a little bit more, it was brought up because of the cell tower. When the cell tower was put in, that was promised to block the view of the cell tower because Leaf and Candy Peterson would have basically the cell tower almost in their backyard.
Okay.
I do think that in the berm, there is a lot of garbage. It's not just dirt. It's a lot of garbage. Now, Lou and I went back there last year to look and see if we could figure out where these coyotes were, and there is a lot of greenery on there now. I don't know if it'll cause problems in the future. If it's, I don't know. I don't know what's in there. I don't know where the garbage came from. But I don't know if it's when they dug up the cell tower, if they used that.
that's what it is, it's the spoils from the tower.
Yeah. So,
At this point, I mean, it's not hurting anyone, it's not, if you consider that an eyesore, then you can consider the entire wood back there an eyesore. I mean, none of it's kept, it's all, there's dead trees.
Right. Okay, I just didn't know if it was something that a resident wanted leveled out.
no, he wanted a better berm.
Okay.
He wanted more trees back there, I think, was the hope, that there would be trees that were higher,
Okay.
that would grow on that berm. Now, again, when we went back there last year, I do feel like there were some trees on there.
Yeah,
I
they
don't
were.
know how long they'll stay,
Okay.
but,
Yeah, it looked bad.
no, I
I
don't
mean,
think that's
that's-
that.
Given where we're coming from and where we still want to get to, that should be a extremely dead topic until we get to that goal that we've been talking about for the last few years. Until this village, all the streets are done and every building is up and running 110%. You know, when we get to where we could just, you know, sit back and breathe, and then it's okay, what's next? And then at that time, we can address that thing, but it's the small pimple, you know, it's not in nobody's way.
And then, I mean, we have one reason here. We have a tenant who's trying to start a nice business. And
Yes,
then everyone's seen the drive now. I mean, we're trying to spend money on things that are really gonna help
yeah.
this area out, keep the tenants happy, make it a nice space for everyone, not just tenants. And that really is focused on this side.
Absolutely, yeah.
I'd rather spend $8,000 on your drive over here.
Absolutely, and I just was under the impression that they wanted that berm leveled.
No.
That's what I was
No.
thinking, so I mean, if it's just there because it's an eyesore for them, I understand that, but for some reason, I was thinking that they wanted it leveled up, they didn't want it there, but I'm mistaken on that completely.
No, they wanted something better,
Okay, just different,
different, and I think a little bit more,
okay, yeah.
Ornamental.
Yeah,
yes, thank you,
okay,
yes.
okay. Thank you.
Okay, so Chris's recommendation, which is also one I stand behind, is to approve asphalt contractors plus the alternate and a contingency. So we don't need to make a contingency to cover all the things we talked about, we can at least get this approved, and then have them bid out the alternates.
Well, that would be different than what I was saying before. So do you want me to get additional bids from any of these? I mean, because I might as well just bring back one package
Right.
that says this is everything that asphalt can do all together. I mean, we might even save a little bit of money just by them packaging it all together. So I'm fine with you just tabling this then,
Yeah.
and then we'll bring it up the next meeting with all the stuff, so.
You don't have asphalt or Stark as well.
Well, last I checked, you guys wanted Stark and
And
asphalt.
asphalt,
Yeah,
yeah.
those are the two of them.
Right.
Yep.
Are you gonna ask them too about the car stop things for the parking?
I
Just
can.
like, yeah, ask them, you know, so we get apples to apples here, so we can kind of find out what they're gonna, and I don't think we should use the old ones. They're pretty big though. Okay, yes.
What kind of material?
Those are, they're just the plastic, they're staked in.
Uh-huh.
They're easily replaced. I mean, you can go with concrete ones, you can do, I mean, most places don't have that, or they have a rolled curb. The rolled, on the edge of these pavers now, they can do a nice rolled edge. It's easier to maintain, the plows don't like it though.
Yeah.
Because
Is
of
it,
the
wasn't
straight-
that like $40,000 more though for like a little?
Well, that was a concrete
Oh,
curb.
okay.
We could just ask for
I wouldn't do that.
replacement plastic ones.
Yeah, concrete curbs are different animal.
Okay, got it.
So then, if there's nothing, well, we technically need a motion to table then.
I make a motion, or I move that we make a motion to table the approving of the asphalt contractors for the driveway for the complex until next month.
You have a motion.
I second.
And a second, first by trustee Root, second by trustee Gasser. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, so passed. Last item, approval of accounts payable. Everyone had a chance to sign, review? I don't think I did. I reviewed it, I haven't signed it.
Oh, that's over here.
Turn it down then. All right. Then we'll be looking for a motion. Someone other than trustee Root can participate for 30 seconds.
Make a motion to approve accounts payable.
All right, we have a motion, there's a second by trustee Black. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it, so passed. And with that, we're adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, who's still my head?